It's another summertime night up in Cali. We just left the club out the function in the alley. And the West Coast niggas straight posted in the valley. About to catch a PJ and touchdown to Maui. Cause we on top of this game. Top of the game, top of the game. And we don't roll with no lame.
Good morning, good morning. Let me put the link so you guys can meet with Gangish. Hi, how you doing? You doing good today? I haven't been on YouTube because I've been going to school. Today I have to do this. I'm asking people for interviews, and today I got Gangish from Denver. Did it! I'm gonna get on my computer right now because I forgot that it's an hour difference. And he texted me on YouTube. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot the time. Yeah. So I'm trying to do this. I'm just waiting for him to come. Yeah, everybody's wilding out right now. It's freaking windy outside. It's so cold.
Hey.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What does it say? Good looking out. And hey, Aaron. You guys know what I'm doing. Like, I just woke up. Can you tell? Yeah, I know. I'm not scare you guys. I'm taking my other sweater. It's too fucking cold. I'm wearing two goddamn sweaters. You're like, what the hell? Who is that? I'm just like, I'm wondering no matter what I do. Watch. There, better. Better. Can I just look up? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my kids. Yeah, here's screaming. Wild. I'm gonna draw what Gangish is on here because I'm waiting for Gangish. That's what I'm waiting for right now. I forgot about fucking the thing. Oh, my bad. I cussed. My bad. I'm not supposed to cuss.
It's another summertime night up in Cali. We just left the club out the function in the alley. And the West Coast niggas straight posted in the valley. About to catch a PJ and touchdown to Maui. Cause we on top of this game. Top of the game, top of the game. And we don't roll with no lame.
Where are you, Gangish? No, I'm just kidding. Hold on. What do you guys want me to draw when he gets here? Because I don't know where he at. He texts me and then I can't get him on here. Hold on, give me a minute. It's not a mission fail. Nothing's a mission fail, trust me. Everything can be done. So how's everybody this morning? Besides me looking like cool, I just woke up mode. But yeah, we got this. Oh, Oh, let me see. I'm back. I'm changing devices. Hold on. I gotta figure out how to get a hold of Gangers. Hey, should I like send smoke signals? Not just fine. Okay. Let me see if I can get a hold of Gangers real fast. Give me 1 minute. Gotta go back to my YouTube. I get off of this one. Let's see. I leave this one. Girl on the stream. There, stay on the stream. No. Can you see me? Can you guys see me? Can you see me? I look like shit right now. It's too early. It's because he's mountain time and I am Pacific time. That's another thing I don't like about the time. Give me a minute. I just woke up. Give me a minute. Where's Gangish? Where are you, my friend? I'm gonna go text him real fast. I look like shit. I don't know. Tell me about it. Well, that's on a normal basis, but you know what I mean. Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me put some music for y'all. Listen.
Yeah. My shawty bad, She my one and only, I won't ever leave her lonely, no. My shawty bad, She a bad girl in a bad world. My shawty bad, If you catch her in the street, she'll knock you right off your feet, hey. My shawty bad, My shawty bad, Ooh, yeah, my shawty bad. The type of bad girl that you wish niggas had. Laying down to good love, have her coming back. Stay on my side, cause this is where it's at. We ain't popping bottles now, we just kicking back. Steady on the ground, she give me a time. Together on top, yeah, we both shine. I ain't letting go, baby girl, you're all mine. And that's the deal, what's how I feel, I keep it real with ya. When I ain't playing no games, I wanna be with ya. Fuck the rumors, baby, just don't believe in them. I got you, you got me, got in between, amen. You're my love and my friend, baby, that's the end. I'm your ride or die girl, and I'ma ride to the death. Drop a nigga in the face if you ain't showing respect. I'll be like your soldier, I'm here to serve and protect, and that's true. Shawty bad, She my one and only, I won't ever leave her lonely, no. Shawty bad, She a bad girl in a bad world. My shawty bad, If you catch her in the street, she'll knock you right off your feet, hey. My shawty bad, Shawty bad, Shawty independent, making her own money. Shine brighter than the sun, yeah, even when it's sunny. I got hella dope raps, more than a mummy for her. She like my 4-leaf glove, I'm feeling.
We stay heavy on the grind. It's the California state of mind. I'm squeezing $100 bills out of dimes. You can get yours, homie, know I'm out to get mine. We stay heavy on the grind. It's the California state of mind. I'm squeezing $100 bills out of dimes. You can get yours, homie, know I'm out to get mine. Getting up at the crack of dawn just to get my
Okay, so where is it? Oh, the bottom. It's supposed to be playing. That's not playing. Gangish, where are you? Okay, now the laptop's lagging, but on my phone, so I'm good. It won't play. Can you guys move it? Sorry, guys. Hello, everybody. I'm co-hosting with Boys of the Barrio. Everybody knows who that is. If not, I'll let you guys know. Comment. so you guys can follow. Gangish is in. Finally. About time. Like, Gangish, I'm on here in a hurry and stuff. And yeah, he sent me. He made it. Hey, I gotta get used to the time. Pacific time, they'll be like, I gotta remember the phone calls we used to make to check the time, and they would tell us. I remember that. Yeah, I look like shit. Well, I always look like shit, but you know what I mean. I just woke up. Don't judge me. There, we did it. The light sucks still. Let's see. Who the hell is... Oh, there you are. Come on, I can change your name. Again. Let me take the music off real fast. Ooh. Hey, I'm like, I forgot a specific time and it's mountain time. The time is wrong. I woke up all like, what the hell? The good thing I went on YouTube to see that, because if not, I would have been, oh my God, I'm late like the rabbit. I'm late. How you been?
Good. Busy. Very busy.
I know, me too, with school. Damn, I look dead. Anyways, hi. Hopefully I don't scare nobody. If I do, I'm sorry. I can't change that. It's just the way I am.
So early.
Hey, don't look at me, little puppet. It's okay. Well, I have this class. It's called Cultural Anthropology, which they use big words, and I'm like, stuck stupid with my Google, trying to figure out what the hell they said. But besides that, I have to do this cultural report. I'm doing a research. It's gonna take from now till like June. So I already got Incredible Javier. I already got Boys of the Barrio. Now it's your turn. You ready?
Let me turn this light off so it's not making.
I look like I can't see myself. Like I'm so blinded by the light. Yeah. So.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm ready. I might have to stop for some water.
I gotta get a sugar rush. So, I'm drinking soda and eating chocolate right now. Wake up. Fuck the coffee. It's like, yeah. We got this. Okay. Hopefully no interruptions. Tell me when you're ready and I'll be ready to go.
I'm ready.
Okay. What makes you Gangish?
What?
What makes you Gangish?
Shit. Well, okay, so the name Gangish I got from the show Blackish, right? And the premise of the show is like, like they're black, but ish, you know what I mean? Because they're Americanized. That's the joke of the show, right? And so I kind of lent from that because, everybody I grew up around was gangbangers. Everybody, like Denver was bad. It wasn't super violent, but everybody was banging. Everybody was from the hood. And that was just part of it. And so now that I'm an old man, everybody I know are gangbangers, ex-gangbangers. Some are still active, some aren't. Some have turned their life around. But it's literally, these are all my cohorts. They're all gangbangers. I work now. I got a job down here. Guess who hired me? A bunch of gangbangers. You know what I mean? Who work for a nonprofit organization. So it's the same thing. And so I thought, but at the same time, like I'm an old man. I got a bad back. You know what I mean? Knees ain't great. Not in the best shape anymore. I'm not. And I'm certainly not gangbanging on nobody. That's for certain, So it's related. My channel is Gang-ish. It's related to gangs, right? Gang-ish. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. And the thing is, people don't know, you know what I mean? How it all comes to be on somebody picking a name.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And hold on. The thing is that nowadays people don't just come about, I grew up here and I grew up there. It's what your belief is to be your family. You know what I mean? Some of us don't even grow in a regular home. We come from a broken home. You know what I mean? Some get separated from our family members and all that. Let me change to my phone, because it's echoing. It's not cool for me. Hold on, give me a minute.
You're muted.
I know. There you go. Okay, well, the thing is that some don't even see that we grow up like in broken houses, broken homes.
You're muted again.
Okay, hold on. And remove. I had removed the wrong puffy. That's fine. We come from a broken home, and we get sometimes taken from our family, which is CPS comes in, or the system. We become a system child or whatever. And back in the day, you saw all kinds of action. You know what I mean? You just had to stay quiet, or you were part of it. You know what I mean? Either you joined it or you ran, which most likely you couldn't run. But and nowadays is that I was talking to people that traditions, in any way, street traditions, hood and family traditions have all changed. Now everybody wants to do whatever the hell they want, and they don't care about any consequences or the pros and cons to a lot of things. And now they only want to be on phones. Now nobody wants to go outside and build their own toys like we used to. We would make our own game shit for all we know. You know what I mean? Nowadays kids don't even want to go outside, like just to stand outside. It's like they think it's too much to ask. You know what I mean? And before we used to have this, oh, the neighbor would even take care of us and like kind of holler, hey, they're misbehaving over here. Can I get them from where I'm at? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you can't even trust nobody. And what's your point of view on that?
Well, think about, this is what I would say is, whenever you're talking about, you just said it perfectly. You said that we used to make our own games. We used to have plum wars because the plums would fall off the trees and then we'd throw the plums at each other. You know what I mean? Little hard plums.
Yeah.
You make your own games. You figure things out. You play baseball with ghost runners, right? You use ghost runners so that because you don't have enough people to play. These are all compromises. These are all small compromises, and how would I put it? Alpha, beta type stuff. There's challenges. There's power challenges and power dynamics that work themselves out. You know, the older kids will tend to lead, right? If you're in a group of kids, the older kids will tend to lead, things of this nature. So, imagine what happens whenever we take all of that decision making, all of those power dynamics, whenever we remove all of that from the child. And now the iPad just does the decision. You don't have to make the game. The game's made for you. You just pick it up and press buttons. That's all you have to do. So all those things affect parts of the brain. They affect parts of the brain as the child is forming. So what happens whenever you stop stimulating that part of the brain for, I don't know, a couple generations? I mean, we've only done it for a generation or two now, right? Let's see.
Facts. It's a trip because you're right on that. And people lost that discipline also. Like I've noticed that nowadays you can't just look at a kid because they'll do a staring contest with your ass. Like, what the hell? No, that's not how it works. My mom would tell me that look would tell you all. And they would look at us in the restroom we went to get that talk or get that ear pulled. You know what I mean? Now you can't even do that to kids. Like, they'll call CPS on your ass, or they'll call police on you, or they'll tell school a lie, and you're like, that's not what happened. You know what I mean? Like now, before we used to miss school, we were smart about it. We would either like signature outweigh, and like nowadays they tell on you. My mama told me to stay home. It's like, that's not how it works. You know what I mean? Or they'll just like one of my kids tells me, oh, I forgot to wake up. I'm like, hold up, I didn't go to school because you what? We came up with better questions and answers on all that stuff. You know what I mean? We faked it a little. We faked the funk, or we played it smart. Something. Now kids record themselves. They get caught up, and it's like, oh, that's all bad. You see the phones coming out? That's all bad. It's not for protection. It's to make fun of somebody or something. Now there's more bullying also. That there's no stopping sometimes at it. They go beyond what it is, and it's extreme to the point where some kids or some people, because it goes both ways, adults and kids, they don't want to live no more. For my experience, I've seen a child that like literally hang herself, suicide, because the teacher bullied her in military school. Okay, I have my friend suicide. She also hang herself because people. You know what I mean?
Well, um, I would hesitate to say why people do these things, because whenever all of the dynamics in the world come together for you to actually take yourself out, for you to delete yourself, that's very complicated. There's going to be family dynamics involved. It generally doesn't happen if you have a super solid relationship with your kid, and like there's a mom and a dad in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the child that I'm telling you about, she had both parents and support to the fullest. You know what I mean? And she had a twin brother and all that.
But you never know what family dynamics are. We really don't. You know what I mean? It's I don't know.
Good point. Yeah, good point though. Because
you never know it. People are banging their kids.
Yeah.
People screw their kids. People that you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like forcefully like taking advantage. Like I've seen this stuff in real life where they're in like some sort of weird relationship. Some dude's in a relationship with his daughter, right? Like just people are weird.
Yeah, nowadays they make it seem like it's okay. Like they come out like nothing. Before it was at least a little discreet. You know what I mean? Not to be fucked up or nothing, but you know what I mean. Like
there's no shame anymore.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
has any
There's no shame no more. Yeah, like I seen it.
They told everybody that there was no shame in anything. They said there was no shame in the main lie. The main lie was, honestly, in my opinion, was that they touted this idea that it was a good idea to be a single mom, and it wasn't. That's clearly like they've given up on that now. They don't argue that anymore. They're like, no, okay, they've completely stopped arguing that because the metrics are in, the data's in. It's a bad idea. It's just by this simple data, and it's not saying that if you're a single mom you can't be a great parent. That has nothing to do with it. But the data in general says that your child is more likely to use drugs, more likely to end up in jail, more likely to be the victim of SA, more likely for all kinds of horrible outcomes, simply for not having a father in the home. And in the 1960s, a bunch of well-meaning social workers went around the country and knocked on women's doors and said, well, we've got these places you can move to, and it'll be government subsidized, and we'll give you a bunch of money, not a bunch of money, but we'll give you enough money to live. And all you have to do is not have a man in your home. That was the only requirement, is to be poor, and there can't be a man living here. And so women said, yeah, okay. And this is a large portion of what destroyed a lot of the black family in the United States, because the black people they said, yeah, that's a good deal. We'll take that money. It's free rent, or $50 a month. You know what Section 8 is. This is how the projects come about. What I'm describing is the mass institution of the project system throughout the United States in the 1960s and 1970s.
Hold on, Gangish. And Gangish, meet Chris. He's on the bottom of me. And
Sir?
Here I muted you guys because he was talking, but you guys can unmute yourself if you guys want. Hi, Chris. Good morning, and hi, Ambitions. How's everybody's day today? I'm doing research on, because I have a class. It's cultural anthropology. Sorry. And we have to talk about the behaviors, the cultures, how everything has changed, right? And what the difference is from back then till now, and behaviors, human behaviors, attitudes, all that stuff. And they told me pick a platform. The most that I know platform mode is YouTube. Hold on, let me take my son's shoes off. Hold on.
Oh, it's CCW, everybody. Don't use my personal name out here just because of my prior history of YouTube and the incidents of the community that I was once involved in. So anyway, good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? And only caught the end of your post statement about the projects, about how the federal government systemically had held down the Negro, as they called the population back then, into that indoctrination to split the fathers out of their home situation and raising the kids without fathers and only their mothers. And the end result was that, and we know this now, that the overwhelmingly mass minority population that populates our prison system now, most of them are from fatherless homes. Almost all of them are from fatherless homes. And that's a result of the bullshit that our federal government did to that particular culture 50 years ago, 60 years ago, whenever it was.
Yep. Facts.
I agree.
And here's the other sickening thing about this, and this will prove my point, that we really haven't changed, because brother, I'm 60 years old, so I'm old school. I can't read the guy's name over there. Bangish, which is our brother. I'm on my cell phone right now. I'm doing stuff. So it looks like you might even have a little gray in your beard. This is the reason why I call out the entire American public school system and the bullshit that they've been teaching everyone. It was until 3 years ago, and listen, guys, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I got a pretty high IQ. I'm one of the smart motherfuckers. I've studied history. I've studied the shit about the pyramids and the world and all this other crap. It was until 3 motherfucking years ago I didn't find out about the Tulsa massacre in Oklahoma. And it's like that's a revelation of knowledge that our federal government absolutely kept from us. And is anyone familiar with what I'm talking about?
Black Wall Street.
Yes, sir. An entire sustainable profiting with low crime. This black community was firebombed from the Air Force of the United States. They firebombed these people out of the wrongs over on the others. Literally, that's where that term came from. The other side of the tracks. Where is that taught in American history? Were you taught that? Was anyone taught that in American history in high school, in junior high school, in college? Did anybody learn that? I didn't.
Yeah, in college they talked about it, but I had already read about it in prison. I learned. I never went to high school. I learned about it myself, though.
How long ago was that?
That I learned about it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe 2006, maybe something like that.
No kidding.
I read a lot whenever I was in prison. I'm a nerd.
Yeah, well, see, that's take advantage of the system. Yeah, good for you. But yeah, okay, so still 2006, brother. That was just a minute ago. Yeah, and
I didn't learn in school, not in school. I did learn about it in college, though. I recently learned they taught about it in college. It's whenever things become popular, that's whenever they'll decide to dredge them up. It's the same thing with the Stonewall uprising. Now, since the gay LGBTQ stuff is so popular, now everybody knows about Stonewall. So things bubble up to the surface whenever historical arguments that can be used to buttress people's current points will be dredged up whenever the topic is relevant to something that's happening.
Oh, so we're bringing the Democrats into the conversation now. No, I'm just screwing around. I'm just kidding.
And Vincent, what's your point on this? Because I know you want to talk. Speak, my brother.
Nah, I just wanted to try. So I didn't catch the beginning of the live. I just caught what you guys were talking about, the education system and kids. And so I work with kids every day. That's what I do for a living. And, the part that we struggle with is, because you're right. You guys, somebody made a comment. I don't know which one it was. Somebody made a comment about not having a father in the home. What we see on a daily basis, what I see is, some of these kids have, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what they call IEPs in school. It's when a child is they're dealing with, some type of issue. And so they have to implement a program for these kids, a learning program, so that they can be on the same page as the others. And so the hard part for me is, we do our best at work for these kids to get on the same page. And a lot of them, it starts with parenting. You know what I mean? It starts with parenting at home. A lot of them are kind of, they got to really know discipline. You know what I mean? You can tell which kids are pretty much not well disciplined at home. And if you don't get a problem on it while it's early, I hate to say it, but most of them are going to end up in the system. And so, what do you guys feel about that?
Well,
Do you guys agree? Do
unfortunately,
you guys disagree?
well, yeah, no, but unfortunately, that's what the federal government wants. Here's the ultimate thing that goes along exactly with what you're saying with a broken home is that it produces broken people, and broken people are not productive individuals on society. Therefore, the socialistic side of government takes over. And Puff has heard me say this many times on previous live streams. The number one virus on this planet right now is freedom. And America is the last holdout of that. You guys go travel anywhere around in the world, and there's no freedom. Everybody's all socialistic and fascists and dictator governments. America literally is. I mean, you got Britain, UK, and it's still around, but still they're not true democratic societies where everything is free. Dude, we're it.
On the discipline problem, what invention saying. Oh, look, I have 8 kids, right? On my kids, I have one that's my terrible one, the one that don't want to go to school, the one that answers back, won't stay quiet, the one that has to have the last word, or she'll make sure she does something about it. If she don't get her way, she tries to, and sneaks to it or lies to it. So I got both of what you all talking about. I got my son that needs help because he has ADHD. He's been through many accidents, so has PTSD. He has, he has his last car accident. He saw 2 dead people because the accident was that bad. So he gets all kinds of trauma. He can't even be outside in the rain, in the wind, or whatever the hell. So all that trauma can affect him in school, all kinds.
Right.
And then he had a trauma like father-wise because his dad was more of he would drink and we'll take it out on him. Like, oh, I don't like your. When he was playing with a friend and he didn't listen, he would pick him from his ear all the way upstairs. You know what I mean? And then he saw they got removed from me when they were like 6, and he was 6 and my daughter was 3. The 2, okay, and all that is effective through a lifetime. I'm telling you because I know, because I'm going through all that. That's mainly one of my the one I'm telling you is a rebel. She feels replaced by her dad because her dad had another kid, and then she feels like she was removed from me, that I didn't want her and stuff like that. She hasn't gotten over it, so that makes her attack everybody that tells her anything to her. She's offended, and everybody's attacking her. You know what I mean? When nobody's
Right.
only I told you pick up a plate, she wants on. Oh, why do I have to do this now? She started going crazy about it, and she's very dramatic. She's the most dramatic of all my kids. She wants to make everybody know what she's feeling, how she's thinking, and what she wants to do. And dude, I've grounded her a whole year. She got no phone, she got no electronics, she can't go outside. She says that's my fault. She's antisocial, which when I go to school and see her, she's very social. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she wants to blame somebody. You know what I mean?
Well,
All the time, blame on somebody.
Well, Puff, I'll say this. Kids nowadays, because they're so technology is the whole world, right? Every technology is everybody's. I had a situation recently where my daughter, she's in high school, and I don't allow her to date. I want her to focus on her education, because it's important. And so, because I want her to have the opportunities that I didn't when I was her age. So, anyways, we came across a little situation, and so I took away all her shit. Her grades were kind of going low, so she fucking threw a fit. My whole world is over. I don't got my phone. I don't got my devices.
Yeah, and it's your fault because I can't contact nobody. Oh, I was late to school. It's your fault. You didn't let me call you. You couldn't pick me up. I'm like, dude, relax.
Right. So my question for you is, and I'm not judging. I'm just asking. Do you besides all the traumas and whatever, do you think do you think she wants attention? Because a lot of kids, they act out. Most of them want attention.
She was the one that was always with me. She was my tag along. She's my glue to my leg. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she always tells me, "Who's your favorite?" I don't have a favorite. I love everybody the same. I equally everybody the same. And she goes, whatever. She's the only one that always wants to kick me in the with something. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, what do you want? She gets everything, even if she's grounded. I try not to, but it's like, for me not to hear, I'll get her for her. But she knows her way. You know what I mean? And I don't do that for everybody else. But everybody goes, go ahead, mom, because she won't shut up. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like, she can't say I don't pay attention. She's always with me. That's my chicle. Like I tell you, she's always with me. That's why I don't understand in what way I'm not giving her attention. She dances. I know every song she dances to. I know what group she likes. I know everything from all my kids. Even if I look like I'm not paying attention, they come at me. I'm like, quiz me, come on, quiz me, and I already know everybody. You know, even my sister's kids. I'm like, what is it that you want? I know it has something to do with their dad because as soon as her dad comes in, he doesn't, like I told them, if you're gonna come in, don't come in and out because you don't stay with the repercussions of what's going on. I get everything afterwards. You know what I mean? She'll attack me at full force. You feel me? So I already took her to the psychologist. I already did everything. Everybody, you know, old fashioned. My mom and my uncles and she needs an ass whooping. That's what she needs. You know what I mean? Why am I
Right.
trying to break cycles? Why am I gonna hit my kid for no reason? I ain't got no reason. I want, and
Right.
right now she's going to continuation because she hasn't gone to school most of the year. I put her in Zoom. She got more exits than I can think of, and everything ends on her favor. So I'm like, God damn, now what? You know what I mean? Like I go to the school and I explain to them. Dude, one time she told the school that she couldn't go to sleep because of her ADHD. That I gave her something to go to sleep. I'm like, you're trying to tell the school that I'm drugging you to go to sleep? What the hell? You know what I mean? And I haven't given
Right.
her. She goes, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, that's the first thing you're gonna land me in jail with? Anything else you want to do? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like she comes out with whatever pops to mind, and you can't tell her nothing because she feels offended. She attacks or she cries and this person. But you're not that person. Be yourself. Think yourself. Don't add nobody to the combo. It's only you. Don't because of this or because of that. So if you're telling me that if somebody else goes and done this and that, you're gonna go do it too because you're a follower. How about you be a leader? How about you leader yourself to this and that? She won't go to I tried to put her in basketball and all that, right? Dude, she made a big scene. Like there's no more. She cried and all this. I'm like, dude, I believe in you. You're the only one that should see this, okay? No worries about whatever anybody tells you, judges you. I love you for who you are. You got me behind you. That's all you need. You don't need nobody else to come and tell you, well, you're good, you're best, you're whatever. To me, you're you. That's it. I don't gotta go look at nobody else. I am supporting you, and you. You don't gotta worry about the outside or anybody coming at you. Why? Because you have to learn that you have to be you and you have to support you. And you got a mother behind you. You don't need no daddy, no nothing. I got you. Don't worry about what anybody thinks about you as long as I love you and I'm behind you. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing that I've done and said or whatever. Like I'm so positive towards her so she can think positive. Dude, for God's sake, she beat in Florida a whole fucking spelling bee. You know how hard a spelling bee is in front of people. And it's like, what happened to you? Like you were a student, a student. What happened?
Right. I think it's just phases that they just it's just like us adults. We go through certain phases in life.
She's in ninth right now. She's in continuation for not going to school or whatever. Nothing phases her. Nothing scares her. Dude, I sent her to Florida for a year because they told me probably that would help with her family over there with her dad's side. She would call me every day crying, come get me. Like if Florida was like a mile away. It's like, you know what I
When
mean?
you said she's in ninth grade?
She's in ninth grade, yes, sir.
Yeah, but see, you got to look at it like it's hard nowadays. Like I feel, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm 38.
Okay. See, I'm 40 years old, but see, times change from when we were in high school. I feel like it's hard now. I feel like it's harder now for these teenagers. Like it's just, I think social media fucked that up for a lot of kids. You know what I mean? Because they TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever they see on social media, I think it plays a big role. You know what I mean? They want to be like I tell my daughter. My daughter recently, she was on TikTok, and all they do is, I don't have TikTok, but it looks like all they do is dance and shit and just do dumb shit just to go viral.
Okay, let me interrupt you on that real quick, brother. That's the reason why I call them Generation M, because everybody says, well, the millennials. No, they're not. It's the generation of being manipulated. It's exactly what you just said. All these kids are isolating themselves and they're planting themselves in front of these social media apps. And this TikTok thing, especially, the crap that they're manipulating these kids' minds with right now, it's making them turn into mush.
The threads that are out there, like the dances, I'm like, what the hell? I look at her, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Is that a dance or what the hell is that? And now I know why I know about fucking hentai. because of her. I didn't even know hentai was what the hell it meant until the school called me and told me, she's watching hentai on her computer. I'm like, what the hell is hentai? And I'm over here researching, and everybody was laughing at me because I didn't know what the hell that was. I'm like, I'm not your guys' generation status mom. That's old status mom. I'm like, she goes, oh, you're what did she call me? You're a different breed. I'm what the fuck is a different breed? Like, what the hell is going on? What the hell? Now their vocabulary and slang is so different. Gangish, what do you think about all these situations?
Well, the exposure of the exposure of children to porn. I mean, I guess in multiple different kink. I guess not full on porn because porn describes penetration. So kink and fetishistic stuff. The attack on children is real, and I'm not even on no conspiracy theory stuff. I put off on this for a long time, but it's like, I don't know what else they're thinking. They bring weird stuff. They bring weird presentations to these children that really have nothing to do.
Yeah, I see cartoons different now after I saw it.
You could just say, hey, drag queens are people, and you got to treat them with respect. The drag queen doesn't have to show up and shake his ass for the kids. You know what
Correct.
I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, like you could just say, just respect them. So I find it hard, with the dude who didn't kill himself, if you remember that guy, and then the female, what's her name, Maxwell. They've never released that book. I mean, and that book was full of the people who run the world. And we know that because we have seen some of the lists, Alan Dershowitz, things like even the Clintons were on there, things of this nature. So it's real. What they're doing to the children is real. I don't know why they're doing it.
Hang on. Did you just refer to the Epstein list?
Well, I think that's what I was talking about.
Well, no, I had some background noise over here in my head. So
I believe that's what he was referring to.
Okay, yeah, dude. I published that list on my community page.
Yeah.
I have that. I have every single person's name on Epstein's list posted on my community page.
Yeah, I'm talking about Maxwell's book. They've never.
Yep. No, where'd he go? Where'd he go?
It's because my son pressed the button. I'm sorry. My son pressed the button. Sorry, gang. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. He's back. There you go. Yeah, he's right. Yeah. Dude, why hasn't her paperwork been published yet? He's correct.
Well, I think we know why is the thing. Is like it's kind of obvious what they're doing. And they've been saying that they're not doing it for a long time, but they're doing it. And it's targeting the kids. And I don't know why. I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know if this is a freight train that's out of control that the Democrats have been stuck with, because the old school, Nancy Pelosi doesn't believe that men are women and women are men. This woman is 80 years old. She's just as conservative as you or I, right? She's playing a role. She has a role. She has people to represent, and she has to do what she has to do, right? And these people have gone rogue. It's like a part of society has gone rogue with common sense, and the Democrats are stuck with them. And I don't know if they know what to do. I feel like it's a freight train that's out of control, and this is the Democrat voter base, and so they have to agree to things that they know aren't true. And then they just keep perpetuating a gaslight. So that just to be like, oh, what are you talking about? It's always, what are you talking about? There's no crime here. There's no poop on the streets. But then like people just walk around and video the poop, and they just act like it's not happening. That's just standard political practice. Just act like it's not happening. Right. And so I don't know where that's going to lead. For some reason or another, that cohort that I'm describing right now is targeting children. And I don't know why. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose. I don't know if there's an actual agenda to because they want to get at the kids. If that's what it is, it kind of seems like that sometimes, but at other times it just seems like a shit show that nobody can really control, because it's hard to control people in mass. You don't know what people are going to do. You know what I mean? This is If you could predict human behavior, you could run the world. No,
See,
if you could predict it to a 70% accuracy, you could run the world. We don't know what people are going to do. We're seeing this in China right now. We're seeing the results of the one child policy played out. Well, it turns out whenever you let people only have one child that's a boy, you end up with a bunch of excess boys. And so you end up with a labor market that is super hyper competitive, and you have to have a doctorate to compete, and you have to work 70 and 80 hours a week to compete. And you know what happens to people who really aren't that smart to get that doctorate? Why am I going to work? Why would I work? I live in a socialistic country. I'll collect my little pension or whatever. Why would I, if I take on a wife, I have to take care of her. I have to take care of her siblings. I have to move her mother and father into my house. These are the responsibilities of a man. And then any child I produce, I have to take care of, and I have to take care of my own parents because I'm the only child. So one man decides to take on a wife in China. He's taking care of 8 people. He now has to work 70 to 80. So there's a huge chunk of people in China that's part of what is called the lying down movement. This academic wrote a paper and said, why would I work? Why would I do any of this? I'll stay at my house and I'll play video games. I'm not going to take a wife. I'll watch porn and play video games all day. Why would I work 80 hours a week just to have a woman? This makes no sense. So now the biggest country in the world, China,
they don't have a labor pool.
They have a huge population decline. People aren't having kids because it costs you $150,000 to take a wife. You got to be making that much a year. You know what I mean? To like take a wife, because it's so competitive and you have to take care of everybody. Actually, that's too much because it doesn't cost that much to live there. And the price of China is weird. There's places that are inflated higher than New York, and then there's places that are worth like nothing. But
well, that's the majority of the country.
Yeah. The majority of the country actually is like really rural, you know. The majority of the United States is actually very rural, if we're going to be honest.
Oh, yeah. You could put like from basically Kentucky, Ohio, all the way to Nevada, and put that entire population that lives in all those states and just put them in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. That's how many people live in Los Angeles that live in all those states combined. And that's for Chicago and LA, and all that stuff. But it's funny, you went round tree about the freedom thing about China and the whole bit. And being able to control mass groups of people, because that's exactly what they're worried about here in America, and why they're trying to do something about the guns, and they're not going to be able to do that and take the freedoms away because they can't control us. So, and we're the last great holdout. So the problem is the soft times have produced a soft generation. And these have been soft times here in the last 30, 40 years. We haven't had any hard times. Everybody looks at 2001 and the attack that we had. Well, that was over in Iraq and Afghanistan. So basically, we've had a couple generations of soft times that have produced a generation of a population that's soft. So it's not going to be good. And also I want to bring a point. You guys talked about a few minutes ago about when you took your cell phones away from the kids and they freaked out. I've been telling people this a long time. I was saying with the freedom thing, with this isolation manipulation thing that's been going on. Remember when COVID hit and toilet paper was scarce and everybody freaked out because we didn't have any toilet paper? Well, just multiply that times a couple million when all this shit goes sideways with Ukraine or whatever happens, and they flip the switch and shut the cell phone towers off, and they isolate people that have been isolated on these phones for a generation and don't have the socialistic skills to socialize with other human beings. Look how bad they freak out when you take their cell phones away from them and they feel completely worthless and isolated. Wait till that happens. Wait till that happens on an entire continent when that happens. Watch the psychological and the mentality, the mental instability of all these kids right now. Watch how everybody, and they're not going to be able to be controlled. Just saying.
No, I agree, man.
What's it? I can't read it. The war in Iraq, Afghanistan produced soft people. You lost me on that. Yeah, absolutely. Because, dude, that was all that happened. Listen, we've been living well. We've been the most prosperous country in the last 200 years. Let me tell you something, man. Go to these third world countries. See, we're fortunate because I'm right here in San Diego, brother. I'm literally a half an hour from the border. I'm not even that. Just go to just go to any other country. Spend some time there. See what these people like he was just talking about in China, brother. We have got it so good in this country. And I call it first world problems that everybody bitches about on TikTok and the shorts on YouTube and Instagram. Oh, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Listen, they all live in houses. They all go to school. They all have clothes. They all have food. I'm talking for the most part. I know there's a huge population of kids that, again, come from broken homes, that don't get proper food every day. I know there's a huge proportion of that going on in this country, but on the same token, hey, brother, even though we're going downhill quickly, this for the last 200 years, specifically in the last 40 to 50 years, this has been the superpower on the planet. So it's hard for me to swallow that we didn't produce soft kids in this last couple generations. So, because somebody made a comment about the war or whatever it was, blue collar vet. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, we've got everything right here. Dude, you go to a grocery store in Europe, go to a grocery store in South America and Central America.
You know,
we've got,
I would argue, like, this is the weird thing about, like, you made the statement about freedom and that the rest of the world doesn't have freedom. But this is the weird thing, is that that's not really true. What's true is that different states believe in freedom for different things. And I'll give you an example. If I go down to Mexico right now, they've started to regulate it somewhat now, but like 15 years ago, you just walk in and buy Oxycontin, Vicodin. You just walk into the, you don't need a driver's license. Nope. If I go take a car right now and just drive it down there, I'm good.
Mexicali, you can get everything you want to. Tijuana.
Yeah. So in some ways, Mexico is more free than here, right? But that exact example is replicated throughout the world, right? In different ways. Different countries believe in different things. There's country in North Korea. North Korea never thought that it was even an idea to outlaw marijuana. So everybody in North Korea grows and smokes marijuana because it's an herb that they've been using forever, and it was never an idea to even restrict it. So everywhere you go throughout the world, there's different, they
absolutely
prize freedoms in different ways.
Yeah. Well, the only reason that marijuana got scheduled as a narcotic like it is was because of the alcohol industry. Once they did all that, and whoever it was talking about the vet, hey brother, there was no vet that's soft. So I don't know how you got that implied or not, and make sure that I'm not implying that. And listen, our veterans are badass, all of them, each and every one of them. Anybody who stands up and takes that oath, bless you all. So no, I'm talking about the kids. I'm talking about the kids right now. So yeah, dude, the freedoms that are correct in some countries that are socialistic and monarch and fascist, they do have sometimes more freedoms and better freedoms than we do. But ultimately, most of them don't have the free speech that we have, and the free travel that we have. So, it's different perspectives, no doubt. But again, we are absolutely the last great holdout.
No, I would just argue that we are the last great holdout of freedom of speech. We were the only country that truly practices freedom of speech.
Yeah, and weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 and 2, the most important.
Yeah,
1 and 2.
I guess that's right. No, that's not true. Israel, it's a right to carry your weapon. Everybody has weapons. Switzerland, everybody has weapons. There's plenty of country.
Yeah, but those are micro countries. They're not superpowers.
Okay.
So that, yeah, again, but you're right. Yeah, well, yeah. Again, but I made that. Yeah, I made that point. There are individual, countries, states, as we can call them, around the globe that still do have that stuff. But let me tell you something, brother. Once we disappear, they're done. The second it's over for us, it's immediately over for them. So, and again, once, and it goes back to the point that you said a few minutes ago about trying to control the masses. Well, you can't control 400 million free motherfuckers in the United States of America, but they're damn well going to try through a dictatorial and a militarized police.
Here's the thing. We hear a lot, and you can isolate a bunch of stuff on the internet. You can isolate a bunch of clips of left-wing people going at guns. Right? We got to take them, this and that, the AR-15, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and these big pushes, and then they get on TV every time there's a mass shooting, and they do their stump speech, and this has to stop, and somebody has to do something, and they shed a little tear or whatever. But what happens? Whenever that happens, people go run and buy up all the guns. And
absolutely.
This is consistent. This has been consistently happening. Every time the media highlights a mass shooting, people run and buy more. So the right to bear arms is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger in the United States, despite the Democrats' lamentations, if you will.
Well, like I'm telling everybody, culture is supposed to be united. Like cultural people have their way of doing things together, but nowadays nobody wants to do things together. Everybody's like the rival of the fittest. Everybody's on their own. Nobody wants to, like, you know what I mean? No, there's no communication.
They've been spending a decade telling everybody that they're different and that they're supposed to be suspicious of white people.
Division. That's, listen, if they divide, they conquer.
I hear more about race today than I did back whenever the country was actually a lot more racist in the 90s. Like in the 90s, racism was mostly like the homie would tell a racist joke or something like that. Now I got to hear people complain about how it's white people's fault. I hear it a lot. I work with at-risk people. I'm not going to go into it too much, but men that are trying to get back on their feet. And you wouldn't believe how much you'd hear that it's the white man's fault, what they're going through.
Yeah.
They can't stop drinking. Or the one the other day was dead set that somebody had put something in his UA. One of these white people, he was on the phone telling his lady, one of these white people put something in my UA. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, listen, we've done. Listen, it's just the manipulation of what they're doing to divide and conquer.
It's not his fault. The government's feeding them this.
Yes, sir.
Telling them that all their problems in the world have something to do with the white man. Like this white man that exists in the ether. And they don't want to point anybody out. They don't want to point you out or me out or anybody in particular, but they just describe this person that's in the ether. And then it's like a ready-made excuse. The Democrats have fashioned a ready-made excuse and then turned it into a philosophy that anybody who's not too bright can latch onto, right? That like any subpar philosopher that you meet can tell you about white supremacy and all this other nonsense, right? And this is why they've turned it. It's bite-sized philosophy for people who want an excuse for why their life isn't the way they want it to be.
The other thing is the education system in this country has raised an entire generation of morons.
I wouldn't go that far. I would. I cannot to call people names, especially if I'm talking about kids.
No. Hang on. No. That's an IQ level. Yeah. Like dim and smart and no. That's an actual brother. It's it's a trip that you go to college level and you ask these kids fundamental government questions and they're clueless. I mean, and these are college kids that are going to be out in the system building buildings and
that doesn't make you simple or whatever, you a moron or whatever, because you aren't interested in some government bullshit.
No. I'm just using that. As an example. They ask. There are other questions about just simple things in life, and they're like, I have no idea. I mean, do you know right now that the 16 to 18-year-olds right now, they're almost a third of them aren't even attempting to go to get a license. That whole generation of freedom again is not even being asked of these kids to go out and explore and go get your own vehicle and go see what's out there in the world.
Yeah.
And right. And that's brother. And this all goes back to what you're saying about what the government is doing to these kids and the education system that they're slamming down these kids' throat. All this twisted, demented sexual bullshit of this binary crap and all this manipulation of everything right now. And it's twisted their kids, their minds into absolute mush at this point.
No. The children have been the American school system has been on the decline for a while. This was a long time before any of the non-binary stuff. It was going downhill. It was going downhill whenever I was in the 90s. Whenever all
absolutely. But I'm talking about immediately though. Yeah. When the internet, the last 10, 15 years.
Yes. Well, social media accelerated. Specifically, it seems like the inception of the like button, the ability to like or dislike something, has had a direct correlation with young women hurting themselves. You can see a spike. As soon as the like button is introduced, women start being admitted to hospitals, self-admitted, cutting, different forms of self-harm, right? So that, I believe, is a large part of what set it in motion. The school system is not helping. The bureaucracy behind the school system, the way the bureaucracy in the school system is set up is if the union makes it so that if I want to quit or if I want to fire a teacher and the teacher wants to exhaust all of its remedies in the school system, it can cost the school system $250,000 to fire a teacher in bureaucracy and going through hearings and appeals and getting a lawyer and all of this other good stuff, right? And so if people push back, they generally, and the teachers know this, so the teachers won't resign. And so what they do is they send them to districts, to shitty districts. They send them to, if you're a bad teacher, you don't get fired. You just get shuffled down the line. And whenever you end up shuffled down the line, you end up in bad neighborhoods. Well, bad neighborhoods are the ones that need the best school teachers the most, right? So you're sending bad teachers to bad neighborhoods and they won't, you basically got to bang the kid. You either got to like sock him up or be screwing the kid to actually get fired as a teacher, right? Or not show up, I guess. Maybe drugs. Like if you got, I don't even think they would. You'd probably just go through. Even if you got arrested for drugs, they would probably just send you through counseling. I'm almost positive they would, because that's how.
Yeah, they're so desperate for education, people right now. They're so desperate for everything in this country right now. There's just not enough of anything in this country right now, and it's going to come to a head as well as the rest of the world and the internet populates itself. I mean, again, America's been consuming most of the goods, even though we're a fifth of the world's population, right? But now that's all going to cease to exist, and everybody's going to realize that we're not the shit that we were or are.
But that's probably a good thing. That's what's so crazy about this is the fact that it's horrible and it sucks that you can barely afford eggs, but realistically, they shouldn't have been $1.50 a dozen.
Correct.
Because that causes waste, right? Like if I buy a dozen eggs right now, I'm eating all 12 of them bitches, guaranteed. You know what I mean? I've let plenty of eggs go to waste in the past. That extrapolated out through time and the way that we factory farm the animals is not sustainable. Those farms are poisoning the land. They're absolutely disgusting. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos of the people who live around these pig farms, but it's disgusting.
Oh yeah, no, dude, I did an expose on Coke about Fair Oaks and Fairlife, and YouTube banned me for 2 weeks after I did that report on my old channel. They had 20,000. Oh yeah, no, dude, I did it. I did an extensive report on Fairlife and Fair Oaks and the abuse that the employees do on the animals and whatnot, and YouTube said bye bye, see ya, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, I'm aware of that, and it's just, I don't know how it's going to get fixed. Honestly, I do know how it gets fixed. I just think that it's too late for the world. Listen, the planet will always take care of itself, but for us as a population, we don't have the infrastructure. We just don't use it. We don't have the money. We buy aircraft carriers and F-35s instead of feeding the homeless and fixing the education system. Our priorities are all fucked up. But there is a resolve. And that resolve is get the youngins the second they get out of high school and get them into the government, local councilmen and assemblymen, and get them in to change it at a local level. It's got to get changed.
I'm hear people say this, and they talk about, and I hear what you're saying when you say, well, we got money for F-35s. Fair enough. That's a fair point. But here's the thing. The public school system gets about roughly $600 billion a year to fund itself. Right? It's about the same amount goes to the college system as goes to the public education system. Okay. So 600 billion. The United States government gets about 820 billion. Okay. So the school system is getting 75% of what the armed forces is. Now, if we look at results, we see that the armed forces is the best in the world. We have amazing technology. Now, it's crazy overpriced, but we have off the wall, over the horizon. We basically have a dragnet around the world. We can launch anything, and we can launch whatever. We can hit anywhere in the world, right? We have a dragnet. We've created a dragnet of military bases around the world. This is what we get for $800 billion a year. Now, if we look at what we're getting for $600 billion a year,
we're not getting shit.
School system, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Well, the problem isn't money. The problem's not money.
No, it's the system.
Yeah, the system is messed up. It's not more money. They got enough. They squandered it in bureaucracy and useless nonsense, gender programs, and just weird stuff that's not really education. You know what I mean? It's like not even, it really is, unfortunately, it's like indoctrination. Some sort of, it really is like half a school now. You know what I mean? It is, I don't know.
Well, no, here, I'll give you a prime example of this. So, and I'm just going to, the numbers are pretty close, but they're not exact. So there's a park downtown San Francisco. All the businesses are tired of the homeless people coming in, and there's, listen, man, we're all together. We're going to build a public bathroom in the park. We'll finance it all ourselves, blah, blah, blah. They all looked at it. You're looking at $2.5 million. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a simple building with a toilet and a sink times two, one for female, one for males. Dude, that's two. What are you all talking about? So this went on for, good God, a year, 2 years, something like this. It went back and forth. Yeah. One of the businesses, I guess the husband or somebody had a plumbing company. They owned it. They said, listen, man, we're just going to put it in ourselves. Don't worry about it. We're going to volunteer it for the homeless, blah, 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 blah. And this is where the bureaucracy part comes in. So the city council said, whoa, hang on. You just can't go and do that. It's still going to cost you at least $1.2 to $1.5 million to put that toilet in. And this plumbing company said, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's not going to cost us anything. It's going to cost us probably about $50,000 with labor and materials, and we'll be fine." No. We have to have engineering studies. We have to have ecological studies. We have to have EPA studies. We have to have this. We have to, and all that cost. And what you're talking about, the bureaucratic bullshit to put in a simple toilet in a public park turned out to be over $1 million. And that's the point that I'm trying to convey about the public school system. That whether for it's like the military. When a hammer costs $400 and a toilet seat costs $1,000, there's something wrong here with the system. Something way wrong with the system. So
I don't mind them spending on the military as long as we win. If your point is to win, you're going to take my money for the military anyway. You might as well. That's why I support Ukraine, not in any moral sense. It's because if you're going to take my damn money, you might as well. You know what I mean? You might as well stick it to the rebels. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a whole other subject about Ukraine. I don't want to get started on because that war started in the Obama era. Most people don't know that Obama started that war.
The war for Crimea has been going on a lot longer than Obama or any of that's been going on for centuries. And
the reality of that is the United States and the propaganda machine here in the United States, they're not going to tell people this. Dude, Ukraine has been attacking that whole area of Russia for decades now. Decades. And Putin, looks like Miramar is firing up. Putin has been putting up with it for a long time. Most people don't realize that. I actually have some family that have Russian in them. And it's the whole narrative and the whole bullshit that has been spun upon the American people about the Ukraine war too, dude. It's just and somebody was making comments a while back. I saw them scrolling up about how the mainstream media and the propaganda that they spew to, again, everybody's being manipulated. All of us are being manipulated, and it's almost the Hitler thing. Man, you keep on telling people the story over and over and over and over again, and eventually they'll start believing it.
Yeah, but it's your responsibility to educate yourself these days. Nobody believes in the mainstream media anymore, and the polls demonstrate that. Like less than 20% of people believe actually trust the mainstream media. So everybody kind of knows it's on their own. You're on your own devices whether or not you want to research something. I would say.
Yeah, but the other thing about that aspect of it is too, and thank God for Elon Musk going to Twitter and exposing this, is that the federal government has tapped their hands into Facebook, into YouTube, into Google, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. Dude, they're all in there manipulating the system.
But nobody thought those were trustworthy sources of information. We've known we were being censored on Facebook. We know TikTok is if I go on and say anything wild on TikTok, China's going to smack me, right? So now, is there a young generation who seems to be soaking it up and actually getting their information from these sources? Yeah, somewhat, but that I don't know if that has anything to do with clicks or not. I think that may have something more to do with clicks than anything else. I don't know about that, but does anybody really think anymore that you're going to get like accurate information, like accurate hard-hitting news on Facebook? Not really.
Well, I don't know, man. See, that part I can't legitimately answer because I don't know the mindset of these kids who spend all their time in front of a computer, isolated and bouncing from site to sites, and who they deem creditworthy. Yeah. I can't honestly answer that question because we all know that Zuckerberg is just as bad as what's his face at Microsoft. So,
well, okay. Here's the thing that people have to be realistic about these companies.
Gates.
If they think that if you think that Elon Musk didn't walk into a secret government contract, you're fooling yourself. I guarantee they walked in and said, check this out. Here's some level 5 security stuff that no one's allowed to know about. You're not allowed to talk about it or we'll put you in jail. Sign this. And I guarantee Zuckerberg's got the same type of trip, and Bezos has the same type of trip. You don't get to just put satellites up in the air. You don't get to just run. You think that they don't got secret government? You know what I mean? So they
that's why they don't know what to do with him.
Yeah. Oh, and he's a rebel within the box. He's not. You're a dumb a mofo. You cross the U.S. government, and you know that because we see what happened to Julian Assange. You don't want to be the next Julian Assange. And so Musk ain't stupid. I guarantee he's playing ball with the CIA, just like I'd play ball if the CIA walked in right now and said, you're going to do this or we're going to ruin your life. Because they can absolutely ruin your life.
Dude, back in 90, anyway, whatever it was, I have to go back and think about what it was. Brother, I got visited by the fucking Men in Black.
Yeah.
I was exposing information about stuff that was going on in Dulce Mountain and the correlation between Oppenheimer and Roswell. And I was exposing it big time. And they literally showed up and said, dude, shut your fucking mouth, talk about it again, and you're gone.
Yeah.
That's that.
And of course, you be quiet when they do that. I mean, I would.
Oh no, dude! I shut the fuck up for almost a decade. I just shut. Matter of fact, I moved up on top of a mountain on 77 acres behind 3 security gates. It took a private road. You had to get up on the mountains. You had to come in one private security fence just to get into the complex, and then you had to get to 2 more on another a sub private road just to get to my 77 acres. And I stayed isolated up there for years before I came back out in the public.
Yeah. I don't. That's one thing. I don't cheat on my taxes. I don't play with the feds, dog. The state is the state. You know what I mean? It's cops and robbers. If you're dealing with the state, catch me if you can, whatever. But yeah, I don't play with the feds. I pay my taxes. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't playing with them fools. And if you own a multi-billion-dollar corporation like that has that much pull, I guarantee you have to sign something. There's some sort of non-disclosure type situation that you cannot talk about that lets you operate that corporation. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. You don't get correct. You don't get to that. You don't get to that level of control over that many people without having the federal government keep your ass in check. Because here's the other thing also. Do people really think that Biden is here's the thing. This is what's gonna trip everybody out. And Trump said it during the campaign speech right there with fucking Biden and Hillary during the Democrat won the whole thing. And he was talking about, listen, man, the whole system is rigged. You know it is. And they all stood there like, no, it's not. And he goes, yes, it is, because I'm one of you, and I use the system. So even though he said he was claiming he was one of them, he was one of them by economic status, of which we were referring to a few minutes ago. But the one thing he was not of the political cesspool. He was there to drain the swamp. And that's what made Trumpy so goddamn dangerous. Is he wasn't going to go along with the program, and that's the reason why all this has gone sideways so desperately. So and I'm not a big Trumper, the whole bit. Listen, he's an egotistical megalomaniac, but the one thing he wasn't, he was the last great holdout for our country to not sell out to the world before we get sold out. And now I don't even believe, even if we do get even in the semblance of a Republican Party now in 2 years, I think it'll be too late. I think Biden, not Biden. I believe this current government administration will have this country to an end. I believe our 200-year reign is about to end in this administration. That's exactly what they're attempting to do right here. My opinion,
To Shanka, one thing I would say is that I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about this. But at the same time, I also got a strike, right? So the idea that you could say whatever you want on somebody else's platform is not the way that it works anymore. We all censor ourselves every day. There's topics I don't cover on YouTube. And that's because it's their platform. And they allow millions and possibly billions of people to get on here and make videos every day. And they pay for that infrastructure to keep it up and running. And that costs billions and billions of dollars. So they subsidize us. They allow the little creators to come on here and use their infrastructure. And it's...
yeah, but their censorship also is intolerable. It's funny you bring that up. If you go on my community page, I took YouTube survey yesterday, and then at the very end, I called them a Nazi regime, censorship, communist. I use those very words in very dramatic form, and you can go look at that in my community page. It's 3 pages, or 3 pages of what I went off on them for allowing other radical terroristic, because you can go look that stuff up about killings and all this stuff in the Muslim world. They allow all that over there on YouTube. But you say anything about the C word, which means about the pandemic, and OV and that goes along with it. I mean, that's originally how they originally took my 22,000 subscribers away for medical misinformation. And what's interesting now is every single thing that I said about myocarditis and the mRNA and everything that it's doing to the circulatory system and the cardiovascular system and the human body and these people dropping dead, just like what's his face, the Buffalo Bills dude on Monday Night Football. You notice he never answered that.
Don't. That's what I just got a strike for. So let's not get into that.
I know. No. I know exactly what we can and can't say. That's what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I'm not bringing up certain words. But yeah. And that's why Redacted goes over to Rumble, because, all right, guys, now we're going to show you the information. Now, it's funny.
Redacted is an extremely biased news source.
Oh, I know. But here's the thing about them, though, is they actually get the documents from the CDC and the Department of Justice, which is out for everyone.
I'm not saying they're a bad news source, but they're extremely biased.
Oh, I know they are. I know.
And I can poke holes in a lot of their bullshit.
Me too.
It's one of the most contextless shows that there is.
But the point I'm trying to make, though, is the FOIA request, which is free for everyone to read, from the DOD and the Department of Justice and the CDC, and all this stuff's free for everyone to read. But yet, if these guys, and granted, I'm not saying anything about what they are or they aren't, because I agree with you, but if they show it on YouTube, he says, "Oh no, dude, we get a strike, so we have to go to Rumble and show it." And I'm just saying that is the bias and the censorship of some of the social media services from one to another that you were referring to, and how bad they are about how far they want to bias their message.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So that was all.
No, I agree, brother. I agree.
It's a trip that they will allow Muslim terrorist recruiting, which is the extreme of the religion, and they show really horrific stuff on recruitment videos in the Middle East on YouTube, but they won't allow free speech about any of the jab or any medical or anything like that referring to that. And as you say, and I've been a victim of, they took my channel down for medical misinformation, which is crazy. So it's amazing how we have to curb our speech in order to have an open conversation. And don't forget this also. No time in history where we didn't have social media like we've had right now. But to think about this, man, there was a social media service that went Nazi on a sitting president in this country and took him off, censored him completely. If they can do that to a sitting president, then we're nothing. They can do it to us anytime they want to. We're nothing. And that's the reality that we sit in right now.
Yeah, I agree. They can do whatever they want. That is the system that they've set up. They're unaccountable. That's how government's set up to be. Government is faceless. It's an organization that people move in and out of, but the bureaucracy is set up so that nobody's ever actually held accountable. Much like I said, like if you're a teacher, you have to bang one of the kids or something like that to actually get fired. The exact same thing is that it's built that way to protect individuals, right? So that by the time all the Senate judiciary hearings are done, the person that could have been held accountable is out of office, out of power, an obscure figure now. Much because the sociological pendulum swings back and forth from left to right, right? So we're seeing it now. It's swinging back to the right. McCarthy's in power. He's starting to do little things like this. You know what I mean? And we'll see where it swings back to next time. It's looking like we're probably going to have a Republican president this time, unless maybe these two split the ticket. Maybe if Trump won't or one of them won't bow out and they end up splitting the ticket and there's three candidates, perhaps that could spell disaster for the Republicans. But I think the Republicans are going to win. If they can consolidate behind a candidate, I would say they're going to win. So it looks like the pendulum is swinging back. We're starting to see a lot of people. I don't know how it is where you're at. I'm in Denver. Denver's going through a lot of crime right now, and people are kind of tired of it. People are tired of their catalytic converters being missing. They're tired of anything that's exposed having the copper ripped out of it. Anything that's got any scrap metal in it, you have to like strap it down to the ground, you know. And people are kind of over it. And people are starting to show up and scream at people, scream at the city councilman in meetings and things like this. So I have a feeling we're swinging back to a more conservative nature for a while. But
yeah, that's why I said a few minutes ago how you end right there with about people showing up and voicing their First Amendment at city council. That's why I keep on urging, and Puff has heard me say this already multiple times. The second our kids get out of high school, we have to start sending them into politics and changing it at the ground level, because it takes a decade or two. We got to get these people that are lifers in the government system who manipulate it to do all this. We got to get them out. And if we don't get a new generation, because what's a trip about this is all this has happened from the flower children. This ain't my generation. It is sort of, yeah. But the people that are in power in the federal government, these are all the flower children from the 60s, the pot smokers that were the free thinkers and anti-government and everyone be love and this, that. The whole world should be a much better place with these people in charge right now. And I don't know how it all went wrong, but this is where we are right now. So hopefully we can voice our, as the old folks, we can voice our concern to the youngins, and maybe they'll take heed and they'll start getting into local government and they'll start flushing these old established sons of bitches out. And we can get rid of qualified immunity. We can get rid of the police states. And because California is the same way you're talking about Denver too, brother, with the homelessness. Every one of the states, the 10 states of Southwest, like, and you guys included, because it's cold.
And we're talking about cultural. Well, I'm doing a report on cultural anthropology. We're talking about the changes of the world, cultural and government, and all the new changes, how it has that affected us and how hasn't it affected us. Right now, we're talking about how the wars in different countries, or the way manipulation is happening in different countries, in our own countries, in our own states. How the new generation that actually don't do on their own. They do as manipulated by others or apps, or they do a follow along. Instead of being leaders, they become followers, and so on and so forth. It's like we're doing pros and cons of everything, and right now we're showing people what we all think, our own thoughts, our own opinions, because everybody thinks different and everybody's their own person. We think that nowadays kids are no longer disciplined. Like we used to get in trouble and they would discipline us. Like now they think they got more power over a lot of things, and they don't see the pros and cons. They just like deep dive in the problem, and they don't even know what's gonna happen next. They're very confident they can do when there's no knowledge of danger to some. Some don't even want to come out their house, or they get depressed. This is a lot of mental health issues too. Also, like Like a lot of things have changed. Now you see a lot of people being bullied, depressed, little kids doing things that you're like, what the hell? Or they talk about things that we weren't like cool about back in the day. Like the people, like my son the other day came and told me that oh, that's because I kick it with black people. They think it's okay I say the N-word. I'm like, no, you could hit the wrong person and they could come and tell you, hey, who are you to be saying that? What are you trying to do? Or you know what I mean? Because back in the day to us, if you knew the person, it didn't matter if you knew or not, but like you had respect towards people. Like you only did it like behind the scenes, like inside your house or when you guys were alone or whatever, like, hey, my nigga, hey, you know what I mean? And it's like nowadays kids see it like if it's an okay, like we used to say dude, you know what I mean? Like before dude was a big thing, you know what I mean? Like, oh my god, dude, my guy or something, you know what I mean? Nowadays you hear all the word you say is the end, then you know what I mean? My mom would tell me, if I hear you tell me or bro, not the new word bro, I tell my daughter, you want me to spell the word bro? You call me bro one more time, you know what I mean? My mom's like, didn't you used to call me dude? So don't tell her nothing about, you know, it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing, but like nowadays you can't even look at a child. They're not afraid of you. They'll test you.
So check it out. So I'm taking these dudes to the store the other day, right? My job.
Yeah.
I got a group of guys with me. We go to the store, and this dude is saying the N-word like 3 to 4 times a minute.
Yeah, it's a fluid now. It's a vocabulary.
Boom, yeah. And so, but I'm not the language police. I don't give a shit. It ain't got nothing to do with
like
me.
I said, we're cool with it. We don't care. But like,
it's whatever.
And section of town, it's like,
and it's a group of them, and 2 black dudes and a Mexican dude, and they're all just going for it, just N-bombs all through Walmart. We're just walking around, and so then it like the next day we happened to be in a group, and dude was like, he was telling me, the Mexican dude, he's like, oh man, you know, I dig you, homie, you're cool, you know. And he was like, what I could do for you. That's what he said to me. He's like, you've helped me a lot. What could I do for you? I was like, you could stop dropping the goddamn N-bombs in Walmart, dog, around a bunch of kids. That's what you can do for me.
My son comes yesterday and goes, Mom, they think I'm black. And I'm like, oh, but you're not, you're Mexican. He goes, well, they wanted to put me in the Black History Month community. And I was like, what? Yeah, they say I'm part of them. See what I mean? That's what I'm all, you know, you're not black, right? You know, you're Mexican. And then my other son comes in, my 9-year-old, he goes, I'm not Mexican. They told me I'm white because he's light skinned. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell is going on nowadays? Like, one's black without knowing, and the other one's white without me knowing. You know what I mean? I was like, no, you're full Mexicans. Trust and believe me. You can check your bloodline if you want to. But they told me I'm not. I'm like, oh my God, no, here we go. Only because you have the hair don't mean you're black. Only because you're dark don't mean you're black. You mean? I'm like, unless your dad didn't tell me something, then I'm fine. I know you're not black. Eventually, if it's from Cuba or something, this far along the line, like our ancestry, not right now. You know what I mean? But he told me, yeah, Mom, they want to put me in the Black History Month group. And I'm like, but you're not. How is that going to work? Well, they adopted me to the family of my son. Hold on. Sorry about that. He's autistic. Sorry, he does some weird stuff sometimes. Right now, he thinks an egg can crack because it's a toy game, and he thinks he's making eggs. I don't know. Don't ask me. He's weird. But anyway, and the thing is that my son thinks it's okay to say the N-word. And then the other day I was trying to lecture him on, around your friends, if they're cool with it, it's okay. But don't come and say it in front of other people because you never know. The uncle, the mom might be like, hey, why is he doing that? It's only, means. And he goes, but I'm not saying the R. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's out of respect. If you don't know respect towards others, then you don't know what you're doing. Okay, here's your egg. You can't open it. Hold on, let me open it.
But that's the thing about this self-isolation in front of these electronic devices is. Yeah, correct. Is nobody is socialized right now. You take all this generation that's gonna eventually have to get socialized, and they can't. So it's and you guys are talking about that right now. That their social skills they're non-existent. There's no proper communication. So, but is what it is.
Well, I gotta duck out, Puffy. My dog's farting on himself, and it stinks really bad.
I know my dog is too, but I told my daughter to take it out. But hey, why do dogs do that? They snore and they fart. I started laughing because I thought somebody else was snoring. It was my dog. I was like, what the hell?
So I'm gonna take him out, and then I gotta bring this woman lunch, and then I'm gonna go.
You should bring me lunch. Mail it, DoorDash me. No, just fine.
Yeah. Call it
I
in.
woke up and I'm all like, what time is it? I'm late. I was like the rabbit. The thing I didn't want to do, I did this morning. I'm like the rabbit. I'm late. God damn it, I forgot it was a different time. Damn. I was all day.
There you go. Yeah, Puff. I got someplace I got to be at noon too, so I got to get on the road.
Thank you. This is the most people I've had. 14 is a lot to me right now.
Nice.
Oh, well, killer. Outstanding.
Yeah, no, everybody. Oh my God, here he goes. Whatchamacallit, we'll be doing part 2. I have to do a whole thing. Oh my God, my son wants to beat me on the talking. God damn. But I'll let you guys know when we do part 2. And if you guys want to join, go ahead. I'm trying to interview different people, different race, cultural. It's a cultural anthropology, so I have to do different races, but I'm doing it on the platform. And if anybody wants to come up and talk a little bit about the background of their history or race or whatever, you're more than welcome to hit me up on Instagram, LaPuffyguillen, or here, leave me a comment and we'll be on to that. 4 months of history research, but I'm not gonna talk about it on my lives. But I could do by sections, you know what I mean. But whoever wants to jump in, more than welcome. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the support.
Peace out, kiddo. Have a good day. Thanks for having me on.
I gotta
Thanks,
go
David.
see Voice. He's on live. Everybody go see Voice of the Barrio. Good music over there. Let's go support. Thank you.